You're listening to the Social Handmade Podcast. Hello, welcome to the Social Hand Grenade Podcast. Thank you very much for downloading, listening, and doing whatever. I might have already, on the Social Hand Grenade Podcast, made a social faux pas already, as the intro music, as all you know, is of Molotov Jukebox. And, I mean, my brother did say that's fine. He did check with everyone. Mm-hmm. That is cool.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's absolutely fine.
Okay, fine.
He hasn't checked, but yeah, it's fine. Woo!
He hasn't said anything
He hasn't said anything.
So was that a massive surprise to you that actually happened?
No, that's normal. That's Tom, isn't it?
But no, yeah, we know about my brother, but meaning like, you know I've been using that.
No.
Yeah.
No idea!
No. Yeah, literally no
Free
idea.
promotion.
Well, it has been free promotion,
Yeah.
but she had no idea.
No.
Knock, 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 lawyers. Yes, so already just like to say, if you want to email me or anything, go to josephwilsoncomedian.com or josephwilsoncomedian@gmail.com and Twitter and all the rest. And we are here. And by the way, this is a response, the answer to last week's questionnaire. What punchline? And the punchline is, and that is how you lick a cat's vagina. Today's guest is a cat lover herself.
That's amazing.
Natalia Tena.
Oh, yes, pussy
My
licker.
dear friend.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I can't believe it. You're here. I can't believe it. That's amazing. Oh, my God. Yes, it's very sunny. It's very lovely. And thank you very much for being here, Nat.
No, it's great.
Thank you.
We're sitting here with some white wine. We've got some stuffed peppers, which I love.
Made it very Spanish theme for you.
Yeah, I love it.
But we... let's get into this, because you're a massive cataholic.
It's a problem.
You love cats, and you live on a boat.
Mm-hmm. I've got 2 cats now. I've spayed all of them because I can't have just breeding animals everywhere, pissing and shitting everywhere. It had to stop. My cat was such a slut that I tried to get a spade before I went off to do a job. She still had kittens. I took her to the vet, and the vet rang me 2 hours later. She was like, "Miss Tanner, I'm sorry, your cat's pregnant." I was like, "When? How?" She's been breastfeeding in a dark hole for 2 weeks. When did she get dick? When did that happen?
Why? And you're like, why haven't I got dick?
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
Why is it always sucks when your pet is getting more poon than you. You're like, motherfucker.
This depressive. I don't want to look at your face. So I rang Maddie, Adam's missus, who's a vet. I was like, "Do I abort it? I don't know." And because they only have a pregnancy of 8 weeks, and she was already 4 weeks pregnant. I know, I don't understand.
8 weeks.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do it halfway through. I'm just gonna have it. So I ended up having to give away the cat I wanted, called Toothpaste, which now Tom has.
Yeah, my brother.
Called it some stupid name like Tilly. And and I...
Hang on, but the name was Toothpaste.
It was Toothpaste, yeah.
Why Toothpaste?
Because it looked like it had stuck its face in toothpaste badly. Like, when you brush your teeth when you're drunk, and you just you've got it all over your face and you go to bed and it's like the stain. And he wanted to call it Meowsvich, and but he went to the vet and he was so embarrassed when the vet asked him, like, "What's your cat called?" He freaked out and just went, Tilly Wilson.
So he wanted to call it Meowsvich.
but now it's Tilly forever.
But you've got quite a few cats on your boat.
Now I've got 2, so I kept the one from that pregnancy when she was already had kittens, and this one is white. It's cross-eyed. It's like a toy cat. It's like a mix between a bear, a cat, and an otter. It goes swimming. It's got its own towel. It smells funny all the time.
You sure it's a cat?
It's definitely a cat. It's like, I've checked.
Do you sometimes it's on the bank and then you just catches like fucking salmon?
You can wear him. You can wear him while cooking and he doesn't care. That's not normal.
How do you...
Round
you
the
mean
neck.
round the neck?
Yeah, round the neck, and he hangs, doesn't care, not phased.
No.
Not phased.
So how old's that cat?
I have 2 years, maybe. He was born on Friday 13th. That's why I kept him.
And you got another cat.
Yeah, the Teabag, Madam Teabag, the slut, the one that gave birth to everything. And
Madam Teabag, and who's this bear called?
Uncle Cumbia, middle-aged Shlomo, the Clap, something like that.
But you still think Tilly's a weird name?
Yeah, Tilly's definitely a weird name. Surely with the cat, you've got to give it something,
Have you thought... You must have taken some time off, sat down and all right, Nat, I'm going to name my animals. What the fuck can I... You must laugh at baby name books.
Yeah, yeah.
Dave?
Arthur? What are you talking about? What about a sex traffic accident?
Jesus!
Heimlich remover.
Hang on. Is sex traffic accident, is that...
One word.com.
Is that the first... What's the surname, though?
It doesn't need one. And actually, that cat did get killed by a car. I had one called sex traffic accident, and it did actually die in a car accident. Right. I know, weird.
Right.
So there you go.
You don't work for Peter at all. The animal against Jesus Christ. And that's all we have for the conference of Peter. Thank you, Nat Tena. Wow.
Yeah, where do you go from there,
But did it start off with really shit, boring names? As growing up a kid, you had cats or something? Or you went straight into it?
Well, the first one was called Pinky. That was a bit boring, isn't it? Because of Pinky in the brain. Felix, because it looked like the cat that ate cat food, called Felix. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't very imaginative at 5. But I've tried to develop that. We had one called Hindsight because it nearly died, and then we shoved it in an oven to heat it up, like they do with lambs, like when they're first born.
I'm sorry, let me stop you there.
No, I wasn't trying to kill it. I was trying to heat it up because the mum was rejecting it. So we put it in the oven very low heat to kind of heat it up, so it would, because the mum wouldn't touch it. And then it lived, and we called it Hindsight. That's not weird. I wasn't going to fry it like it was...
No. No, I mean, the Spanish aren't known for not eating anything.
Yeah.
They're very particular. Right. So, I don't bring up the other, the fridge.
The fridge. Oh, the fridge. Okay, but that was okay. Basically, what happened is, Teabag was pregnant and she gave birth on Easter Sunday 3 years ago, and. There was a bunch of us there. We were all hungover. We'd been out the night before. There was like Nathan, Rodrigo, big crew of us. And she started giving birth on the bed at 9 a.m. We were hungover, but we were so excited. But she was being a bit weird. There was something not quite right. And I've been to enough births. And maybe it's all the people. Let's go downstairs.
Were you invited to the births, or did you just walk in?
No. They walk in and have births on me. Like they birth on me in bed. Usually in bed. Like my mattress looks like a massacre's happened.
I swear there could be some websites where you could pay a lot of money.
Just cat birth.
Just cat birth lady.
And we were a bit, we were like, okay, let's leave it to it. We went to watch The Last King of Scotland, which you should never do when you're fragile and hungover. And then we went upstairs and like one of them had died. And we were like, okay, don't worry, it's fine. I kind of put the cat away and then we watched another depressing movie, I can't remember what it was. And by that point it was 10 at night. And all the kittens bar one were dying. Dead, and there was one dying. And we rang up this like emergency vet service at like, nearly midnight. And he said, I think they've been born prematurely. And that's kind of what I thought. They were a bit too small. Sam got so upset, he started because the vet was like, well, is she lactating? And Sam was like, I don't know. He's crying. And he's trying to suck the cat's nipple to see if there's any milk. He's in his boxers just crying, sucking a cat's nipple. I'm like, this is weird. And
quick question, what type of boxers? Were Homer Simpson?
No, they were like pink and tight.
Okay.
And so I was talking to the vet and I was like, what is a milk substitute? And he gave me this list and it was like gelatin, blah, 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 condensed milk, blah, blah. So Sam got his clothes on, ran off and got it. And he was so nervous that because he couldn't find gelatin anywhere, he bought Robinson's jelly mix. I'm like, we can't feed a dying kitten jelly. Like, that's not going to work. And Sam was so upset, but because Nathan was there and he's been to Afghanistan and seen real death, Sam was feeling really, really, really like emasculated by crying. So I was like, look, we won't bury them tonight. We'll just put them in a mug and we'll freeze it. We'll deal with this another day because everyone's upset, crying. Let's just go to bed. And then it just time passed, and your brother got really angry at me because when we were there like 3 weeks later, and he was like, "So there's cats in the fridge," and I was like, "Yeah, there is." And he thought I'd been joking all that time, and he lost his shit, and he made me take out the thing, and then I put it in a bin anyway. So it's like that's not more. That's less dignity, I think, than a freezer.
What type of freezer, by the way?
I don't know. It wasn't mine. It was mine.
You animal, you monster. You know the criteria of putting dead cats in freezers.
No, but it was my flatmate, so...
Oh, it's your flatmate?
Yeah, flatmate's freezer, so...
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
There
okay.
we go. That's a... So...
That's my cat world. Tick.
Tick. Next. So that's just... Obviously, that's a wonderful insight to how I think you are. Because... And by the way, that sounds as rude as it does sound.
Okay.
But it's an amazing how... I love it how you just went, right, okay, we've got dead kittens...
Let's find a solution.
My boyfriend's crying in pink, trying to get some Robinson's juice. What's going on? Everyone feels filthy. Morning, and then you just whack it in the freezer.
Yeah, solution.
Done.
Because
the final solution.
I once did with Lauren, and she had she had a snake called Trouser, and we had a dog called Trumpet and the cat called T-Bag. It was a bit weird, the house, but she had dead mice and rats in the freezer. So I was like, it's not that far.
Well,
it's not that far, is it?
But with animals, we do go, oh no, cats are nice and fuck, mice and rats. There is definitely a hierarchy.
Yeah, there's a hierarchy. But this was like, an undergrown, how do you say it?
Underdeveloped.
Thank you very much for using my words. Underdeveloped cat, and it was very small. It's kind of like a rat-ish. Ish face. It looked a bit ratty. So I thought, freezer, immediately.
When I stayed at yours, I mean, I'm not really a cat person. And
I'm not either. I prefer dogs. I don't know why I've got cats.
What? You prefer dogs?
Infinitely.
By the way, this is called dead air for a reason. Because you just blow my fucking mind as usual. You went through that massive story about cats and this and this. And you...
Prefer dogs.
Oh,
so much better.
There's a dog. Oh, what type of dogs? I fucking love dogs.
I want like a really manky... I want like a sausage dog that's been, because they're quite sleek. Get a sausage dog, put it in a washing machine, and make it, how funny, like that fur that's kind of funny and fuzzy, like that. Like a fuzzbat.
What is this
dog.
fetish that you have with animals and appliances? Have you? I've never heard animal cruelty like this.
I mean, I'm not going to actually do it, but that kind of, as if it's happened.
Oh, so
treated,
like
a treatment.
So big, like kind of a poodle kind of hair.
Not a poodle, no, like a bit scraggly, or maybe the dryer, just a bit dready and messy. A messy dog, a messy sausage dog.
A messy sausage dog. Okay. I love any dog with like floppy ears.
Yeah.
Like floppy little...
Very cute.
And they're like French bulldogs as well. I just want to squeeze...
French bulldogs look like Batman.
I just want to squeeze the shit out of them. They're like... Yeah, man. But we went to Istanbul, the city of cats. Because
so many.
There were city of cats, so how the fuck were you like there? Because I came along to your tour in Istanbul.
Yeah.
Right? So that's known as the city of cats.
I loved it. I like whenever they were around, I got one to sit on me. Tom was convinced I was going to get rabies, but it was fine.
Well, apparently they're really looked after because it's custom in Istanbul to always feed the cat. And apparently it's a sign of rudeness or some disrespect to the cats. And that's why the cats look at you like, meow, what the fuck? You're not giving me some food?
Give me some love, man.
Give me some fucking food.
I mean, there's a lot of them. It happens a lot in Cyprus as well. When I went, there's loads. And in Spain, there's loads, but they're manky. We're not as well looked after as in Istanbul.
That was amazing, because I went with your band, Molotov Jukebox, and it was amazing. I mean, my brain was falling apart at that time of my life. But it was great fun. And
it was good, wasn't it?
Because it's an amazing city. And then literally, I think 3 days after, it all kicked off in
Taksim
Square.
We left, and I was so jealous of Tom and Danielle, because they were staying...
My brother and his girlfriend.
Because they were going to stay... They'd booked a hotel, really nice hotel in Taksim Square, with a rooftop pool. So jealous, and we left, and then the next day, the whole thing kicked off. And they couldn't use the pool because everyone was in like gas masks.
Oh yeah,
and Danielle was freaking out.
It's amazing, but because while we're there, I did hear like the older and younger generation talking, because the day we arrived in Istanbul, they brought in a law you're not allowed to drink on the streets after 8 p.m.
That was
so
it.
The young people were were thinking that this is they're getting too right wing.
Yeah,
getting Islamified, or that's not how you say it. Getting more staunch in their religion. Mm-hmm. And while the older generation were like going, oh, those taxi drivers going, no, it's good, it's happening, it's good. And then it kicked off. It was amazing because what happened in the capital. Yeah. But that was just an amazing...
And then the next time we went, the same thing happened. We went again.
Last week, didn't you?
No, well, we went last week, but then we went, was it last year? And there was also a mini riot as well straight after we left. So it felt like every time we went there, by osmosis, we were helping some sort of madness occur. But yeah, we just came back from Istanbul with Tom and Danielle, your brother, and his girlfriend, and my best mate, who's amazing. And I'm going to be bridesmaid!
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not allowed to speak at all. At all. Like, I'm not allowed to say anything.
You're not allowed to say
at
anything.
all. At all.
Has that been you're not allowed to say anything?
I'm not allowed to say anything at all. Like, I wanted to make a speech, they said absolutely not, and then I was just like, can I do... No, I'm just going to not do anything.
If you made a speech, would you do it like an actress in terms of before, because you'll be filmed, would you be fine if you go name, agent, different profiles?
Height, 5'7".
Hi, okay. So that's getting mad. And but talking about you on tour with your band, so you go all around the world. You just came back from Mexico and you got a tattoo.
Yeah, because Mr. Cranio offered to do one free, and he was an incredible man. He is one of the best in Mexico City, but he looks like he's definitely raped and killed people. I mean, he's got like a few tears tattooed on his face, an anchor, 7 gold teeth, a tattoo of Jesus and various religious paraphernalia on his skull, and his studio's in a church. So that was
if you're going to get a tattoo, you'd go to that guy.
Yeah. And it was free.
If you're not going to get a tattoo from Clive, who works in middle management.
No.
And I'm a very good, actually, tattoo artist. I'll have you know.
It's my hobby.
That's why yes, I do have a penchant for boiled cabbage. You're not going to go for that guy.
No.
You're going, who's that guy that clearly has raped and killed people?
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Artist.
Yeah, we call them artists. That bullshit. So that's because you went to Mexico to your tour. I saw videos online. That was amazing. But you basically, with this band, which has been how old? 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah.
You've been going around the world, and now you're you tell me, the number one in the Latin charts?
Oh yeah, we were on Amazon. We were when Carnival Flower came out last year. We were at number
Your
one,
album,
which is awesome.
That's amazing.
I think along with Enrique Iglesias, thank you very much. And
Henry Churches.
Yeah.
I love it in Spanish, right? Because I'm learning Spanish, and you're Spanish, right? And I love it that with you see, Enrique. Hola, mujeres. It sounds so passionate Spanish. Yes. Like same with Antonio Banderas. Hello, my name is Antonio Banderas. Pussy puss. Shit like that. White people go, oh, it's so sexy, they're handsome, and all the rest. Yeah, but if you translate their names, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Enrique Iglesias. Yes, I know. Henry Churches.
Henry Church.
Yes, hello, my name is Antonio Banderas. My name is Anthony Flags.
Tony Flag.
Tony Flag is rubbish. It's rubbish, isn't it? You go, what? Fuck off. But because to us it sounds foreign. And
Yeah. And also in Spain, they keep naming their kids after, in my village, everyone's called Jesus and Maria. Everyone. Because when you have a kid, you have to name that after you, obviously. And it just keeps going. I'm the first Natalia and unbaptised child in my whole family.
But your town is west, and that's like a...
Yeah,
like
but it's south. It's like Extremadura. It's like a tiny... That's a province in a village called Hornachos. And the women still wear black when their husbands die, and it's very... No one, closes their doors. It's got some great things, but other than that, I can feel very claustrophobic there because everyone's staring at you, judging. The grannies are all whispering, I don't know, evil eye shit at you. I don't know. It's quite scary.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What were your experiences?
I mean, I went there every summer, and it was fine until hormones decided to fucking, flash dive into my system. And
Flash dive into my system.
Yeah, and that then suddenly the whole... The way they treated me was different because obviously I was now turning into a woman, and for them they have such different standards for men and women there. It's very Moorish, very dark, deep south, that it's like none of their parents wanted their daughters to be my friend.
Wow.
Because obviously I would go out, my mum would let me go out, and I would stay out as long as I wanted to.
So was your family a bit of the rebel kind of family, or
not really. I mean, it wasn't that I was being rebellious, and in fact they made up loads of stuff about me. Like when I was 14, 15, there was this rumour, this is what I mean about these villages. It's like someone farts around the corner and everyone knows about it by lunchtime. And it's like, it got back to my mum that I was injecting heroin and having an orgy by a lake, and I'd never taken drugs, and I was a virgin. I was
fuck you, I've never done heroin. Or do you like, well, let's
But I
be
was
honest.
14, I was still a virgin. Like, why? So they were projecting madness, basically, onto me, because that was a kind of scary... An independent, kind of loud woman wanting to do her thing is not cool there.
So it's completely repressed.
In some levels, yeah, but then they're also very gregarious and...
Isn't it kind of ironic? You know,
Yeah.
like it just seems same like in the Latin culture, same in Latin America. When I went there, they're staunch Catholic, football, but yes, you can flash your tits out everywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
and all the salsa and all that.
Yeah,
you know, and people having kids at 16.
But it's like you go to church.
Yeah.
But so you felt that claustrophobic because you grew up in North London. We actually grew up in the same area.
In North London and then a bit West London. I kind of moved around actually, and then I went to boarding school. But whenever I went back to there, I went, like I said, I went every summer. But it only became a problem when I was 14. And now if I go back, it's not a problem as much anymore because now I'm a woman and they kind of, it's a different thing.
And you can say fuck off. I'm
and
30.
Like, yeah.
I'm having a heart attack in 30 years. Fuck yourself.
Less.
So was that? I'm actually sorry.
He's chewing.
I'm chewing.
Joe Wilson chews.
Yeah. So you found that really. What is the difference with that Moorish kind of way? Because you said it's very quiet in where you're from, like in that part of Spain. Has that obviously given you a? Because you've obviously had two conflicting kind of lives. Because like meaning in London, you know, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, you can wear anything.
But wear anything, you be who you are, who gives a fuck, and the world lives here, so no one cares. But then you go completely back to what, like Moorish times?
Yeah.
Was that kind of for your brain to like click into it, or did you rebel against that?
No, it was only when I was an adolescent that it was a problem. Because when you're a teenager, you're being a div, and you're self-involved, and you're like, what's my identity? And when I went there, I felt bad because everyone called me Giri, which is like, gringo, basically, like you're an outsider. And here everyone thought I was mad in Spanish, so I didn't feel like I belonged to either. Now I just don't care.
Yeah. So you always kind of felt that outsider kind of.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah?
absolutely.
Well, why is that? Is that like because that is a standard performer thing? I've always felt that. I mean, isn't that weird? People go, "Well, why do you do stand up on stage?" You go, "Oh, I love it," but it's probably some deep rooted, fucked up thing.
Trauma. Yeah. Don't delve. This is why I don't go to therapy.
I just want to be noticed. Why aren't they fucking laughing? But that is like. So has that kind of sounds such a wanky way in, but that's what I do. I wank myself in to links. What I'm trying to say is, so has that kind of because it's Spain. Obviously, I love fucking Spain. And on this podcast, I've got a few Spanish people already. Has that passion or that that you said that kind of Andalusian or kind of South Spanish kind of passion and kind of has that helped with your kind of like performing side, or would you not know?
I wouldn't know that. I have no idea. I mean, I really admire all the music they do there and the flamenco and the passion, as you said. But I don't know how much. I'm sure by osmosis it definitely has affected me. I just don't really know what does affect you. Do you know what I mean? It's very hard to gauge. Because
when you're doing it, like I started performing when I was 18. Mm-hmm. And you started when you start? Like,
well, I started in theatre when I was 18, but so that's when I'd count it because About a Boy was amazing, but I didn't really know what was happening. I mean, I was doing my GCSEs.
But you were that young?
Yeah, I was doing my GCSEs. I'd just been told I had this film. I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand it. Also, I read the book and then the script was very different. I didn't understand why books and scripts were different. I just didn't know the world of it. It's only when I was 18 and I was the protagonist of my first play that I kind of was like, oh, I love this craft. This is what I want to do.
That's amazing. So you kind of fell into it.
Yeah. Well, I fell into it with About a Boy, and then what sealed the deal was my first play, Gone to Earth.
So what was the difference there? So you turned up to quite a big fucking film. First time you were noticed, more or less. Mm-hmm. And then you did this other with the protagonist. So what did you learn in those 2 years?
In those 2 years, basically, I had such crazy adolescent ovaries that I decided to tell my new agent that I just got, which, I mean, I could never imagine doing this now. I was 16, I was like, look, I'm at school, I don't even believe that, acting is actually a job that will pay you, so I'm finishing my A-levels, that's my mission, and I'm only going to take time off if I'm the lead in a film. That's what I said to her at 16. Wow. Because I didn't think that was my path, and I basically wanted to concentrate on my A-levels, and I got all A's, and I wanted to go and do philosophy, psychology and theology in Australia. I got a scholarship, but then I fell in love. And I fell in love. I turned it down in January because their term starts in February in Australia. And the week I turned it down, I got a recall for this play, Gone to Earth. And that basically changed my life. That's when I realised this is what I need to be doing.
So I want to know, what is the difference between film acting and live acting? You know, like stage acting.
It's the same difference as when you're recording in a studio or playing a live gig. They're very, in a way, I'd say that one is more a precise way of doing things, and but both of them have their difficulties, definitely. But one of them is it's a moment, and you are living it with an audience, you know, and it's there. But sometimes it can go wrong, sometimes it can go amazingly. But what I tend to find is that when you are doing stuff on stage, be it music or acting, you forget more about yourself. You're not as aware of it. It's almost like a magical moment, and you're telling a story or you're feeling something. Whereas in a studio or in film, you can't. It hones in your craft, but it makes you more self-conscious, sometimes more vain, possibly more megalomaniac. I don't know.
Because there's thousands of monitors everywhere.
Yeah, and you have to do it again and again, and it's a very precise thing, and that's great for making things better. But it can also snap you out the story, especially because you usually film out of context or out of sequence. So you might start at the end.
I've noticed when I've done because I've been stand-up for 10 years, so I've always I've got used to that performing. I'm performing in a but then I've done some filming stuff, and always it comes out the criticism or the direction-based criticism is stop moving your fucking head, stop moving side to side, and because I've realised it's so when the camera's on you just stay still.
You stay still, and you've got to hit the marks, and you've got to.
But I'm like la la la. I want to, because I'm used to moving my hands and moving.
I'm every woman. It's all in me.
Okay, let's take a take. All right, rolling lights. I'm every woman.
It's all in me.
It's not in the script, Joe. Sorry, I got confused. When is lunch? I have to buy my own.
When is lunch?
Oh right, I'm not that type of actor. Yay! When is lunch? How much am I getting paid? When is lunch?
Standard. Let's go.
Just standard. Whatever. Do you need a car to pick you up, Mr. Wilson? Yeah, when's lunch? Yeah.
But then I think also with film, it depends. Like recently, about 2 years ago, I did Super Bowl, which is about to come out, and that was very different because I worked with a stand-up comedian, Brett Goldstein, who's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's great, Brett.
He's just epic in so many forms, and that was different because again, working with stand-up was very different to an actor, and I was a bigger part as well, and I was part of the process of the improv that we did when we were practicing potentially doing the short and stuff like that. So I felt more involved in the process of filming than I have in other stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that one and then 10,000 were the two films that have changed my mind entirely about how filmmaking.
That's amazing, because in the past you've literally, I'm sure, as you probably just said, you've been given the script. Fucking, what's the, About a Boy, Harry Potter, which I just like to say, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones. So they've literally just given you a script, and you can't feel that you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Well, this you in the character.
But also those ones, I was a much smaller part in a very big, important, amazing story that you have to tread carefully because you feel very responsible, because this is a character from a book that people have an image of, and it is daunting. You're like, I want to do a good job for all the fans out there that like it. Whereas this was different because I was a bigger part, so that means you're kind of more connected to. You're also in every day, you're working all the time. Whereas when you're a smaller part, you might be called in at 5 a.m, and then they shift stuff around. You never know when you're going to be used, so you're tense all day, but maybe without doing anything. Whereas with those two jobs, I knew I was in every day. I was still terrified at night. Always had insomnia, but at least when I came into work, I was going to work all day doing stuff.
And also, as an actor or whatever, you can really think about where you're going and the notes, and you can make you had more of a freedom to speak to the producers and directors doing Dr. Bob, Mr.
Bob,
Mr. Bob, Super
Enrique
Bob,
Potter,
Enrique Potter, Super Bob, and 10,000. So that's amazing that you can actually. But do you feel that you'd move into more producing stuff, or is it tough as an actress? You kind of want to continue being the lead and producing
No,
your own character?
sometimes it's scary.
Because it's two different things. Because you've been supporting and now you've moved recently into lead roles.
I think they're both scary. I did Refugees that's just come out in Spain, which is a collaboration with BBC, and I lost my mind because I got the job. And last year when our album came out, Carnival Flower, I was like, I promised the band, right, we're going to do all these gigs. Yeah. So they offered me this lead and I was like, I definitely want to do it, but you have to make all these gigs work every weekend. So what happened is from May to September, I basically didn't sleep. I went mad. I was working, 13, 14-hour days, and then on the weekend
fly back. I remember
flying back every weekend to the point where all the security staff in Madrid airport recognised me. They knew me. La chica con el acordeón. They just knew who I was. They just knew me. And it was exhausting, and I did go a bit mad. And also, there's a lot of pressure because you're like, if this goes wrong, it's definitely my fault.
Really?
Like, yeah, because when you're the lead, that's kind of
because you're a lead in your band, and so what's amazing. Why I find this interesting because you're doing your music stuff, which is completely different from your acting stuff. And like, how the fuck do you marry both, or you just do it? You just get on the fucking plane and do it.
You just have to hope for the best. Always.
Do it.
You just do it. I mean, some gigs were harder, especially if I'd done a night shoot and then I had to go straight from the night shoot to the airport, and I basically slept an hour. Luckily, I gave up smoking last year before all this started, because I think when I used to film and smoke, I used to smoke so much. Like when it was cut, it was like a cigarette. I used to have like 30, and then going through an airplane and everything, I don't think I would have been able to sing those gigs if I still smoked. So at least I gave up smoking so I could do it. But sometimes, I was sometimes so knackered, I just didn't know. I was just on autopilot. Basically.
Yeah.
Just trying to get through.
I've done that when I do, I think any kind of performer or whatever, you do I think everyone does in their lives, do autopilot.
Yeah.
Like even I've done gigs, thank you, where where you just go on and you do you ever get to stage? Because this is why I'm interested, because you're an actress, so do you ever feel that when you're doing stuff, keep on repeating stuff in your different takes, like in a film or something, rather than stage? You feel that you're on autopilot?
No.
Or or your autopilot set in when you're on stage?
No, that the autopilot sits in on stage. On when I have a repeat, it's like it's trying to find a different way of doing it, or trying to be better. Or I always love it when we do a shot, when we do a scene. I love it when I'm second. When the
oh really?
Because obviously they do a general and they kind of go in.
Yeah.
And I like
Close-ups.
it when I'm the second or
Why?
third, because by that point you've got it. So you've kind of got over the nervousness of doing that scene. And you've found various ways of trying it. Some actors prefer it the other way. They prefer to be fresh. I don't, because I feel like I look like a kind of crazed rabbit in headlights. But by the time we've settled into it, I always feel like I do better. Even though I've been practicing it all night alone in the mirror, weird, freaking out, insomnia.
I find when I've done a bit of filming, is in between, I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
But I find when I do gigs or live performing, I go, bang, the nerves are before, then I go, fine, I'm great.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get from you really is what are the huge differences? Because this is quite interesting with what you do. Firstly, you do live gigs, and then recording. And then you do, live theatre and, basic recording, film. Because that must be quite a discipline to just...
It is, but it's...
change your brain into four different sections.
It's already different in the fact that what the time scale is. With filming, you're there... you're there 12, 13, 14 hours in various different types of conditions. Whereas, in theatre, it's kind of, you do 4 hours intense work, or 3 hours or 2 hours intense work, you get there for warm-up. It's very different time scales. You have the rehearsal before, you have the different kind of bonding. It's just very different levels. But then again, you can work... It all depends on the people. All of it depends on the people.
Really? What does that mean?
The direct, how you play in between scenes. You are there. Sometimes you're stuck. Like, for example, I might be sat next to someone and we've got to be there all day while they change stuff. And you're just sat in a car, let's say, with someone, waiting, with kind of this dead air. And it's like, how do you feel this air?
So what do you do?
Sometimes you babble, sometimes you don't. You get to know people. Some people prefer not to talk. That's what I mean. It's a very different universe. And for example, in Super Bowl, I had someone, between every take, I had that. I think that and 10,000, like I said before, one of the best shoots I've ever done, because it was warm, it was summer. First thing I've ever done where I've been hot, not freezing my tits off.
Because you're in Belfast for Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And it's incredible, but it is outside in the open, in the elements. And whereas this was, Super Bowl was in London, in the sun. It was sunny. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so when I got up in the mornings before work to go running, to get my jog, it was like hot at 5 a.m, sunny, and it was like, yeah. And the same in Barcelona doing 10,000. And that gives it a thing. And then both with 10,000 and Super Bowl, I was working with stand-up comedians, so it was...
Right, so what is that difference, working with an actor? Because I know that some actors can be very serious and with stand-ups, is it easier? Or
what it is
funner? Or is it because they don't know their technique? It's a bit annoying, like, oh, fuck, can you just make your mark?
I think because there is... I feel like a lot of stand-up comedians are just as insecure as I am. So I think maybe a lot of actors, maybe they just project it, but there's security. But I find there's a lot of bonds to be had from insecurity and trying to help each other through fear. And that's what makes things work. Whereas if you're with someone that's like completely cool, whereas if you're with someone going, I'm shitting it, woo, and there's a camaraderie ship. Is that what I want to say? Words.
Yeah.
That builds from that. Like with 10,000, it was like the director had never done a feature. I'd never done a film in Spanish, and the actor he'd only done theatre, and he's a stand-up, so he'd never done a film. So it was like 3 people feeling they were completely lost, really getting on amazingly, and we love each other so much. It's like...
But that must have been great, like doing Super Bob and 10,000, which, by the way, congratulations, you won, like, you got nominated to the show all around the world.
Yeah.
And you won awards.
I won, 1 or 2, and it was...
Amazing.
It was very weird.
Well, that's amazing, by the way.
It is. I feel like they got it all wrong. I feel like, and we blagged this.
Yeah, of course, you always do.
Like I say, these 3 people that just didn't. None of us had ever done whatever element of this film, and it was.
So there's no part of you as a trained actor, goddammit, from the stage.
I'm not trained. I mean, I'm trained by work, but not. I didn't go to drama school.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, so you're like all the others going, well, what am I doing? Because my question was, if you were trained, you'd be like, can they just, execute that goddamn technique?
Maybe.
That's probably even better, because when I do some acting, I'm not trained. I'm going along with my stand-up, my stand-up training. I mean, sometimes they have to stop because for some reason, just it's inbuilt in me, muscle reflex. I call someone just a fat cunt. There's no reason for it. I go, sorry, it's just my... as a put down. The director goes, no. I go, no, say that to your mum. Oh, wait. When's lunch?
When's lunch?
Yeah. After 20 minutes of work, I'm like, I'm done here. I've told 20 minutes of jokes. So let's get this back to Super Bob. Super Bob, because I was at Comic-Con last weekend, and we were on the same day. Because I saw Super Bob advertised. I was like, fuck, nah. Oh. And you left before I turned up. Now, because you were there promoting the shit out of Super Bob, and I've seen the trailer. It does look damn funny.
It
does look...
I mean, what I love about this...
Tell me about... One of my questions to lead you into this. Tell me... Sorry for cutting you. Tell me about your experience of Comic-Con. Because you're doing you did Super Bob in London, Comic-Con, but also you could be there for Harry Potter and Game of Thrones.
I mean, this is different because there was no signings, and also because people hadn't seen the film. This is promoting something that they didn't see. So we did a panel, which I thought went okay, I hope, and they had a few spoilers, but people were there asking questions. But because they had no content to ask from, it wasn't as... usually when I do Game of Thrones ones, it's an hour long, people asking those questions, and there's a lot of fun. And this was like people, I think, just trying to gauge what they were watching, what spoilers, what the film was kind of about, which is a different way of doing things. But it's really good. I love a comic called The Boys, and I was reading it when I auditioned for Super Bob. And what I love about The Boys is it kind of humanises, very much so, heroes. They're from different countries. One of them's like a massive pervert. They're all a corporation. It's fantastic. It's like this great, different way of storytelling superheroes. And this was the same.
Yeah,
it's like he's a crap superhero.
He's in English. He's British.
He's British, and basically, I think it was Brett or John Drever, the director, who said, he's a superhero that's bad, just crap at dinner parties. Right. He's awkward. He's a really good man who was a postman, and he's suddenly, and he has no friends. I'm his only friend. I'm just like some kind of down to earth.
Do you play the love interest?
Yeah, Colombian cleaner, and she's very down to earth. And she's his only friend.
Sorry, that's the thing. Sorry, you won't be able to do it as a woman. I don't think you have that dirty lechiness in you.
Really?
Can you do that?
I can do.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Touche, girl. Touche. Wow, that was amazing. And if only people who's hearing this could see how you leant in. It was just so... So tell me, so that was amazing. So because I was there and I just Super Bob, so it was completely different. Because I feel that with Super Bob, you feel so free, you can do stuff, and I feel that how you're describing no one really knows what the fuck they're doing.
Well, no, that was 10,000 with Super Bob. With Super Bob, it was much more. We improvised a lot before, like 2 years before. I was going to do a short or the film or something, and it got delayed by 2 years. And Brett, John, and me went to some country house for like 2 days or something, and we improvised loads of stuff, and we kind of talked a lot about, because the main problem is that they've known each other. This character Doris and Super Bob have known each other for a few years, 5 years. All the time when he's been a superhero. What is the transition between knowing someone 5 years and thinking they're a twat,
right,
to suddenly your mate,
to
suddenly actually realising you're in love with them? That's a really
sure
hard thing to put in. So that's what we went to develop, and then nothing happened for 2 years. I was like ringing Brett and John, like, is this happening? And suddenly out of nowhere they rang me in May and they were like, yeah, it's happening, let's go, we're doing it. And they got Catherine Tate to be in basically Brett's mentor, and she's fantastic, very, very, very funny.
Do you feel because look, you have what am I going to ask? So that's the computer just coming. So do you feel like when you're with, because now you've got some you've now got some hits to your name, you know what I mean? Like you could hold your own as a name, as an actress.
Really?
Well, no, meaning you've done some stuff and you're like, yeah, I've done this, and people go, oh right, that's quite cool, So when you're like with other people, do you forget all that? Because you must go, oh fuck, that's so and so, like some serious banging act, like in Game of Thrones or Harry Potter or some serious like fucking director. Or do you prefer it where it's like, as you were saying, like Super Bob, and no one really knows what they're doing, and it's fun and...
what do you mean? Do you mean like, what do I prefer to what?
Yeah, I mean, there's different challenges.
They're both different challenges, but also I'm so bad with names. I mean, I'm so bad with names. I can barely remember mine, which is really long. It's really long. My full name is Natalia Tena, Cortázar, Nogales, Iñigo. Don't know the rest. Ask my mum. But I'm really bad with them, and so when I work with sometimes really. My agent sends me a script and she's like, oh, it's with this producer, this director, blank. And it's not because I don't know. Maybe I've seen their stuff. I don't know. So maybe I don't feel that pressure. But I did feel a bit more pressure when I was doing Series 3 of Game of Thrones, because I suddenly realised how well the show had done. Like when we first started, it was like, oh, it's a cool show, HBO. And then I read all the books by George R. R. Martin, loved all of them. Took them on tour with me to Brazil. And I met him, I was like... I want to be queen. So hopefully he'll make me queen. Maybe.
I mean, hasn't your talking Game of Thrones? Hasn't your character died?
My character hasn't died yet.
Oh, because by the way, I watch it. I started watching it because you were in it, and our friend Una. Una Chaplin. So I started watching because I was like, yeah, all right. And it is, by the way, because I think I know you enough. We've hung out enough to...
We know.
With complete respect. I can Did I say respect?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, complete respect, innit, gal, innit? Columbus house cleaner, dickhead, innit? But, like, I know, I can see you're actually very good, and that's not bullshit. I do go, okay...
But...
Say, let me build it up. I do say... Brilliant. No, but I just can't take it... I can't, because I know you. I can't take when you're saying something as Osher. Yeah, bloody fucking cunt, fucking twig in my hair, smelly cunt, or something like that. Haven't washed my vagina in fucking 12 years. Right? Don't know why you sound like the comedian Bernard Manning. My mother-in-law. That'd be funny if you started doing it and then suddenly going, my mother-in-law, by the way. But because it's you. No, I think it makes my enjoyment more because I see you on screen and go, that's amazing. Now, you may be thinking, where am I going with this?
No.
And let me have that rebuttal.
Okay.
Go, I don't even know myself. So the next topic is...
Oh, woo!
There we go. You see, I had an idea, forgot what I was going. It kept on talking, trying to rescue. Thought my head would rescue itself.
But it doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
He died.
So, cats. There you go. You just call back to try and.
Oh, I know. Can I plug something while I'm here?
You can say whatever you like.
So basically, because I'm trying to make everyone go see Super Bowl, which I think is possibly the best
looks very funny,
superhero movie
trailer.
in the world, and it's like a mockumentary on this amazing man. It's going to be showing in LA on the 3rd of June at the Chinese Theatre, and also on the 7th of June at the Ritzy.
7th of June?
Sunday, 7th of June, 2015, at the Ritzy.
Imagine if I fucked you and went, so 2018 this podcast comes out.
Suck a dick. Just suck a dick. And at 7:30, and it's going to be great. There's going to be a Q&A with Catherine Tate afterwards as well. And I'll be there to hug you if you come. And
Yeah. Well, I really want to see this film, like properly see this film, because it looks fucking funny, man. But that brings actually back. Okay, got it in my head now.
Go.
Thank you for rescuing me. You
rescue me.
actually helped the interviewer help. Have you ever had to do that? You actually helped me. Now I've got time. Fuck me. You say that standards for insecure. Listen to this. Where the fuck am I? So now, with you've gone, as I see it, you've gone from like Harry Potter to like.
He's not going Russian, isn't he? Was it
Harry
Harry Potter? And then
Harry Potter.
No, it's Harry Potter.
You've now started being leads and stuff, and you've gone away from that maybe mainstream I don't want to say child, but like fantasy. There we go, fantasy stuff. Thank you, fantasy stuff. That you pour more wine. Thank you. Into now you're a lead because you did Black Mirror, which you were awesome in, man. And now you've become these dark,
But that's
fucking
not really
sexy kind of like evil characters.
Ah.
You know, like with maybe 10,000. Now that's more of a love story, isn't it? As well.
Yeah.
So you've done Black Mirror. Then you've done this 10,000, but that's a far cry
There
from...
was basically Super Bob love like superhero thing. Then 10,000 very serious like kitchen sink,
Serious.
like
Drama.
yeah. And then Refugees, which I'm a pregnant mum, and then Black Mirror, which is kind of but that I'm not a lead in that. It's a 3-parter, and Una's in it, which is great.
I know, yes.
That was so cool that we both got to.
But my point is that great for an actress, a jobbing actress, that you can actually now expand from fantasy kind of
I
stuff.
hope so. I mean, I'm
to now you're doing like that horrible bitch in Black Mirror.
Yeah, I like that.
Evil. But isn't that great? You can now look back. Does that put you as more of a supporting actor?
I don't mind as long as I'm employed. At the moment, I'm unemployed, so it's all about doing a good job, like getting a good job that you like. That's it. Like hopefully with people.
So you don't want to feel like I have to be a lead.
No. Like it's being a lead is.
Tell me.
It's in like I said. I mean, I like for example when I did Super Bowl at night when I couldn't sleep. Because my character's Colombian, so I'd listen to my stepmom's Colombian accent. I made her do the entire script, and my insomnia basically had a Colombian accent. I was just listening to this woman, and it was still daunting, because I wanted to do a good job for these guys. But then with Refugees, it was worse. I mean, I literally just stopped. I slept 2 hours a night for like so many months. I lost.
What
my
is
mind.
it? Is it nerves? Is it anxiety?
It's everything
self-doubt?
because it's all of those, plus the fact that every day, if you're a lead, you are in all day and you have so many scenes. And obviously you get the call sheet, and it's like, if you're doing loads of episodes, you're jumping between various bits. So it's like, okay, you finish work, you sit down, you get home, and you're like, okay, so this is tomorrow, and you're looking through it, and you've got to try and
marry it all in your head.
Mentally know, okay, in the morning, everything's good. In the afternoon, okay, that bit's just happened before that bit. It's trying to get your head around all of the emotion, like the order of emotion, basically. And then practicing it loads and loads and loads, and then still feeling it's not good enough, and then just going mad. I'd sit in bed and just, in my head would be screaming, stop thinking! That's all.
So why are you going through this madness to do
Because
this?
it's something you need to do. It's like amazing. It's just,
Why? Explain.
Because I love telling stories, and I don't know. I need to tell them. I don't know why. I mean,
Can you see yourself doing anything else?
yes, I think I could be a midwife. There was a moment when I thought
wow.
I was going to give up everything and be a midwife. I was like, I want to do something useful. I want to do something that's like with my hands that has a result. Like, I can help this person. I'm not squeamish about blood, shit, piss, anything.
Oh, I know.
And I think, and I can speak Spanish, so maybe I could go to South America and help women give birth. This is my idea, like about 6 years ago. And then I got a job, and then it kind of got pushed to the side. But I think I'd do that. Or like always music, standard.
But, you know, it's quite interesting because you're dyslexic, like myself. You're dyslexic as shit. I've
can't
seen your
believe-
handwriting, and it's amazing. I thought I was a cunt. No, but, like, it's interesting.
Who invented the word dyslexic, by the way? Some
arsehole. Horrible.
Just die.
Horrible person.
Suck a dick, whoever you are.
But my point is that a lot of performers are dyslexic.
Are they?
It feels like a lot of yeah, I feel that a lot of performers are dyslexic because with dyslexia, you can't... for me, I have dyspraxia, but it's within the same family. It's
a whole other level, right?
It's a different type of... I just go, fuck it, I'm dyslexic, because people go, what's dyspraxia? I go, well, it's a thing,
What is dyspraxia? Is it...
Basically, puzzles. Yeah. So when I was getting special treatment, basically fucking patronising when I was like 13... These like old women going, well done, you did a puzzle. And it's literally a puzzle for a 5-year-old going, I can fucking punch you right in the face, baby. Alright? or man. You know. But it's kind of like managing stuff in your head. There's a lot in the Venn diagram of dyslexia and dyspraxia is very similar. So I completely understand because you're dyslexic, I go completely understand what the fuck you're talking about.
I mean, like...
And I'm going to ask you, because dyslexia, you have to learn lines. How the fuck do you do that?
Well, that's why I'm good at learning, because basically I used to... when I first started, I'd go to auditions, and some actors that are very good, you know, if they've got a lot of auditions happening, they obviously can't learn all the lines because they have a lot of auditions, and also a lot of actors can have the paper there, they can have it down by their knee or something, and kind of glance at it and kind of... still act well. I can't. I look like I basically put the paper in front of my head and try and read the dog. No, don't go. Just awful. So I had to kind of develop being very good at memorizing it. So every audition I go to, I always know it by heart because otherwise.
So how do you do it? What's your process? How do you?
Just saying it over and over again. Sometimes just recording it, listening to it. If it's an accent, I record a friend doing it as neutrally as they can, so they don't put any emphasis other than tonal stuff. Like, for example, if someone's from LA or Australia, they put emphasis on different words, and that's interesting. But I mean, emotionally, like, neutral. And I listen to it, and that helps.
And but basically, you just gotta, some way you figure it out. You just gotta fucking
it's
just one of those.
You find a different way to get to the same place, hopefully. I don't know.
Yeah. I recently went for an audition. It was a short film for something where basically the scene was two best friends, married old couple, as it were, had every conversation. They sat opposite like us, right next to each other. And one guy's like, oh, figured it all out, man. And the other guy was like, yeah, whatever. I'm eating. Right, that was me.
I'm eating.
When's lunch?
Lunch?
And basically the director... See, this is how unfunny the auditioning process is. Now, my level of auditioning is different to you. I go up for, like, shitty commercials, right?
I've done those.
And this guy was like... He was in a room in there. It's a short film and it's all quite serious. Now, for me, I just want to make the camera person laugh. I don't care anymore. I've already lost. I go in there just to amuse myself and leave. And that's selfish, because I used to shit myself before. So now this director was like... I said, can you tell me a bit about this character? He went, all right, well, this character is... He's really serious, he's unsure, and he's a bit of a hypochondriac. I went, oh, so he's Jewish. Right. Let me tell you something. When 8 people are in the room staring at you, just thinking...
Not laughing? Did they laugh?
Cunt. So you're and then he went, so you're a comedian, I hear. And you're like, at that moment I go, have I got the job? There's no point. Is there?
I don't know.
Am I... But that's how with auditions, that's how I deal with it. I just want the camera person, I want to make the camera person laugh, because they've been there all day listening to every fucking arsehole. And if I make them laugh, go, great, that's a good one for me.
Right.
I mean, what's your... Because you've already lost as you walk in. Or is your different high level of audition?
No. Actually,
because they actually want you and you actually a name, no?
No, absolutely not. I think, I do a lot of self-tapes and I've never had a job yet from self-tape. I don't think I translate very well on tape without, like, a basis of meeting me as a person and then seeing, okay. Because also when you do self-tape, you're guessing. You're kind of stabbing in the dark. Whereas when you go into a room, you might have a take on the script and the thing and the sides, but then the director can go, no, try again like this. And actually one of the most important things about an audition is seeing how you work with the director and how you take direction. And obviously in self-tape, you don't have that. I went to do one today and it's like me and, Robbie, the assistant of my agent, like just hopefully doing the best we can. You know?
Really?
So I've never got a job from that yet. Hopefully I will.
Because you landed Osher, or it helped that you landed in Game of Thrones, that you said you went up to the audition in actual, like, costume.
No, but it wasn't full costume. Like, whenever I go to an audition, you always should, I look at my wardrobe and sometimes I borrow stuff of Danielle, the girlfriend's the bassist girlfriend. And she, but I like going dressed up because it helps. But at that point, I'd just come back from the festival and I'd read the script and it's like, she's a wildling. Obviously very different to the wildling I was imagining. But some lunatic, probably only in pants, gave me some ivy, and I had some ivy. I had like this brown dress that I've lost, I don't know what it is. And I think I had some handcuffs that I put around my ankles because she's meant to be handcuffed. And I was like, well, and if I love props, I always try and take props in if I can, always. Like today, I had to have a gun, so I used a stapler. I mean, that's the closest I could get to a gun, but at least I've got something there to give me the, I love props, all about prop department.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I think every audition process is very different. I don't think I've nailed it. What I have learned is that from doing, helping with castings and also from other actors that I've spoken to and directors, it basically, the moment you walk in the room, it's a bit like speed dating. Like, they know. Like, so basically you walk in and it's an immediate yes, or no, it's a yes, you're in the yes pile or you're in the no pile already. So once you know that, because obviously they have an image of what this person should look like. And it's not just about how good you are, because recently I was pretty much offered a job and they had to turn it down because they gave it to someone that looked a bit similar to me and they had to have two different people that we looked too similar. So they need different stuff. So it's like immediately as you walk in, there's a physical thing. The director's like, that's visually, where I'm going. But most of the time, it's like already no. You've gone and you've prepared all this stuff, and it's already no.
So how do you deal with?
That's better. That all that is now that you can only prepare you can work really hard. You can do all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it is going to be an instinctive thing, which is where self-tape is a bit harder because they're seeing it abroad and it's different to seeing someone in a room and feeling their energy when they walk in. But they already know yes or no. And then if you're in the yes pile, obviously then you have to hopefully be good. And then from there, it's like, you get a second audition sometimes or you get it immediately. But knowing that means that you're not so scared because it's like, it's not about how bad or good I am. It's actually a whole thing.
A whole different beast. So now after like 10 years of doing this, 15, 16, you're now third, heart attack in 30 years,
Yeah.
So now you've had 15 years of doing it. Do you feel now, because they always say in stand-up, I don't know what it's like with acting, it's always 10 years and then you become good. So you have to get through 10 years.
Wow, is that what they say?
Yeah, 10 years then you're a comedian.
Okay.
Well, the rules is 100 gigs and then 10 years.
Have you read...
I've got to 10 years and now I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I want to do it for me, how I originally started, but the problem is I've fucked up for 10 years learning what I'm doing, learning how shit I am.
Yeah, I'm awful as well.
And now I've burnt every fucking bridge all along the way. So
just flamethrowing the
fuckers. I'm ready to be a good stand-up. Just got to it. I've just got to it to be a good stand-up, but I've killed every fucking...
No one wants to listen to you anyway.
No one wants to book me. So my point is to you, you've done 15 years. Now do you feel after 15 years, I've got this thing?
Absolutely not.
Right, why not?
Because I just... Basically, I think... I don't know, this is... basically, I've got this idea. It could be entirely wrong, so stop me at any point that I'm boring you or wrong.
That's all we have. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, no. I want to know because it's interesting.
Basically, I have this idea that there are people in life that are just, they are great. Like, they are great. Like, you can surround them with a team of other shit actors or musicians or whatever situation, bad audience, doesn't matter. And the weakest link of that entire group doesn't matter how weak that link is, that person that's great will pull stuff through. Whereas I'm the kind of person that I can be good, but I can be bad. And for me, it massively depends much more on the team. I'm not someone that can shine in any way on their own without that.
But can't you act like you are
No,
do that?
No, because
or is it more of a feeling?
It's not about acting. It's about, I'm talking about like a craft, like just someone that, regardless of whatever day it is or what team they work with or the director they work with, can just deliver. And I'm not there yet. I can do a good job, but only if there's like with 10,000 Super Bob, there were people around me, and there was a magical moment where I was like, it was magic, it was connection, it was a moment. But there's been other stuff I've done with incredibly amazing directors or like gigs, everything's amazing, the sound guy's great, the desk is great, and you just fuck up. And that means that I'm not at that level yet at all. I don't know if you can learn it or if it's...
Two questions I want to know. This is really interesting. 2 questions. What do you feel it takes to get to that level? And second of all, what is this magic moment that you talk of? What is this magic performing moment?
I don't know if you can get to it. I don't know whether it's something you're born with or whether you just keep practicing. There's a guy called Malcolm Gladwell. He wrote a book called Blink, which is awesome, which is about the idea that once you've studied something for more than 10,000 hours, you should from then on basically it says after 10,000 hours you know enough about it, and you should let yourself be led by your intuition, because you've actually so maybe there's a level of how maybe I need to do more acting. Always practice makes perfect, blah 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 blah. But sometimes people can practice for the same amount of time, and some people are just better. They just are. So maybe I'll never get to that. I don't know. What I do know about magic moments, the one like Super Bob and 10,000, is that I was in, with like Brett and John and Super Bob and Carlos and David in 10,000. It was like 2 amazing triangles that just worked. And then around us, because it was a small production, I was friends with all the team. It like really, sometimes when you do bigger things, you just forget everyone's name because there's so many people around that you don't have it. Whereas these are very small things, all trying to achieve something great and like really putting, not getting paid much, putting their all into it because they want to do it. And it was a moment that's magic. I've done smaller budget things that didn't have that, and I've done bigger budget things that have done it, but these 2 were very magical for me.
Do you feel like, that's an amazing answer, by the way. Yeah, that's fucking honest. What I want to know, it's because now after 15 years of doing it, now you get it more. Like anyone doing any skill.
I don't think you do.
No, but you've learned a bit more. You've learned, the process. You know how to learn the lines easy. You know how to, when you go into an audition, to do name, agent, turn, 5'7", and also like to be on set. That, as you talked about this, the politics of it. But like, sorry.
I just hummed in my pipe.
Smoking a pipe. Yes. So my question is, like, because you did those 3 things when you're quite young. The biggest things that you've done, like Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and About a Boy. So where you obviously knew less, naturally, because you're into your craft.
But also, you have more in a way, you have more confidence.
Right.
So for example,
my question, awesome.
So for example, when I did Miss Innocent Presents with Bob Hoskins and Judi Dench, at one point I was next to her in the makeup chair, and I was terrified. I was doing nothing. I wasn't even saying words. I was pretty much just naked standing there.
Is that in the film? Or?
In the film.
Because to be honest, I've known you a few years.
I know, you've seen it all.
What's the difference?
Seen my madam. But
is that what you call your vagina?
Well,
your
sometimes
madam?
Conchita or
Conchita.
badly packed kebab, depending on the day.
Of course. And what day would that be?
Just,
Would that be a Sunday hangover day?
That day.
Or Saturday morning, like 2 a.m.
Saturday
after you 2 pissed.
2 a.m. vagina.
Do you, when you, Okay. I'm sorry. I was going to make a really horrible joke, but it doesn't matter.
No.
I know. See, no, I don't. I know you don't give a shit. I know that if anyone's listening to it, shame on them. It's me just stopping editing myself, going, "You don't need to say that.
You do.
Why would you say that to a woman? You don't need to say that." When you have a badly packed vagina, Nat Tena,
Yeah.
when you come, do you say yes, boss?
Why?
Because that was... See, I was right to edit myself, you see? You see? That was...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're both
Trust
sorry.
me, I'm sorry.
Was it good for you? No. Fuck off.
Wow.
I wanted to say this thing about Judi Dench because she's amazing. And
right, forget about badly packed vaginas
Vaginas,
and
let's
badly packed, awful jokes. Judi Dench.
Yes.
That, by the way, as a link, that's never happened before.
Oh no, ever in the history.
Badly packed vaginas. So tell me more about Judi Dench. That's never happened in the world of show business. That should happen every link to her. Judi Dench. Talking on badly packed vaginas.
No, that's horrible.
Well, she definitely. Let me bring this back.
She's
I've done
epic.
this shit a while. I know how to interview. Right now.
Okay, all right. I'll shut the fuck up.
All right, watch this. How we bring this fucking back into. All right.
Go.
Well, she's not a badly packed vagina, is she? And I'm talking about Judi Dench.
If you like to love, you like to smile, listen to the Social Hand Grenade podcast for a while.
What's he going on about? And how come he always gets to sit and chat while we do all the work?
Hold on.
That's where we are.
What are you telling him? It's all right, Usher. It's not all right. You think I can't hear you every day? Filling his head with black magic, talking about visions and three-eyed ravens and worse.
Leave him alone.
He can speak for himself.
I don't fill his head with anything.
So what do you talk about?
What's happening to him and what that means.
Go on, then. Tell us what it means.
It's not like that. I wish I could tell him all the answers. It would be much easier.
I don't want you talking to him anymore. Until we get to your brother at Castle Black.
We're not going to Castle Black.
What did you say?
I told you already. Jon Snow isn't there. Bran needs to find the Raven beyond the wall.
Oh, no, I'm not going back there. Your brother is at Castle Black. That's where we're going. Look at me.
The Raven's been coming to me ever since I fell from that tower. He wants me to find him. I don't have my legs anymore. This is what I have now.
You have a family. You need to go back to Castle Black so you can get back to them, where you belong.
What if I belong in the north? What if I fell from that tower for a reason?
Is that what he's telling you? That it's all for a reason? All these bad things happen because the gods got big plans for you. I wish it were true, little lord, but the gods wouldn't spare ravens cold shit for you, or me, or anyone.
You don't understand. You don't know.
You don't know. None of you know. None of you been up there. I had a man once. A good man. Bruni, his name was. I was his, and he was mine. But one night, Bruni disappears. People said he left me. But I knew him. He'd never leave me. Not for long. I knew he'd come back. And he did. He came in through the back of the hut. Only it wasn't Bruni. Not really. His skin was pale, like a dead man's. His eyes bluer than clear sky. He came at me, grabbed me by the neck, and squeezed so hard I could feel the life slipping out of me. I don't know how I got the knife, but when I did, I stuck it deep into his heart. And he hardly seemed to notice.
I had to burn our hut down with him inside. I didn't ask the gods what it meant. I didn't need to. I already knew. It meant the North was no place for men to be. Not anymore. I promised your maester I'd get you to Castle Black, and no further.
There you go. That is part 1 of the Social Hand Grenade podcast with Natalia Tena. Part 2 is coming out next week. So check out for that, where we'll be discussing more different and interesting, funny things with this fantastic lady, fantastic friend, fantastic actress, and fantastic musician. Can she do something which is not fantastic? Check out all the other podcasts that we've got going on the Social Hand Grenade podcast from the Brothel. I want to bring you interesting, funny people who are just really good and just come from different walks of life. And it's all for you, my friends. If you have any questions, have anything we'd like to discuss, have any things, whatever, just let me know. Email me, josephwilsoncomedian@gmail.com. Go to the website, josephwilsoncomedian.com, where you can find all the other videos of my stand-up and dates and everything. But for now, thank you very much for listening. Check out all the other episodes, retweet them. Social Hand Grenade Podcast at shgpodcast, and hopefully by part 2 I will have got rid of this awful flipping cold, but by then I'll be in Cuba. See you after Cuba. Adios, besos, ciao.
Know the sound. Time's never there when you want him around. Every day, anywhere, we try and make plans. But he looks with his face while he collects with his hands. Grapple my minutes, my hours, my days. Through hold-ups and gridlocks and countless delays phase. But don't let it get in your way. We all know how old you can fit in a day. That keeps me up with its constant beat. I can drag my heels or I can move my feet. Tick-tock with its constant beat. You can drag your heels, but you should move your feet. That do it just like so. You just can't stop it so. That do it just like so. You just can't stop it. You just can't stop it. Bells and teachers, it's time to wake up. We're only here because time's right with luck. Lady luck watches, she gives little help. She does deals whilst we get dealt.